This is a song for my friends Jaret and Gary. They started a podcast and said a theme was necessary. They're just a couple of guys in a band that you know. Some rockstar dads who started a show. So here's the next episode.
Welcome to the Rockstar Dad Show. Man, this is exciting, Gary, because just last week, and people don't even know this yet because we haven't said anything, but we rebranded, meaning like we have cool new graphics, and we're on all the socials now. We're on Instagram, the Twitters, the Facebooks, the TikToks, the YouTubes, and if people want to see our amazing mugs, they can now watch this show on YouTube or Facebook.
Now, when you say mugs, you're meaning our beautiful faces.
Yes, I do. I mean our faces.
We're also talking about updating some merch items. So, I mean, maybe we should actually make some mugs.
Let's actually get mugs. Hey, here's a question about that. You drink coffee.
Drinking coffee right now.
Okay, now you're drinking out of a tumbler, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I can see that. We used to be sponsored by Wild Gear. We are no longer. So you're obviously using a Yeti, it looks like.
Correct. I'm not brand specific. You know, I get them as gifts. I drink out of them.
Yeah, and until we get another drinkware sponsor, then I'm sure you'd be happy to use their.
Yeah, let's get another drink sponsor, and then I'll take all the others out to the country and shoot them up or something.
I told you how I got on my Yetis, right? This is my favorite thing about living in Texas. Now, listen. First of all, whenever I say this to you listeners, I'm not anti-gun. I'm not pro-gun. I don't do politics. My shit is not. I don't want innocent people to get shot. But listen, you do you. Listen. Fuck it, right? But what happened was the NRA, I guess, a couple of years ago, they took away. Oh, I guess Yeti. I guess no. Let me back up. Yeti, I guess, used to have a deal with the NRA, and if you were in the NRA, you got a discount on stuff, right? So, not even like a Target specific thing. They didn't just go, "We're gonna not sponsor the NRA anymore." They just basically just deleted that whole program.
Gotcha.
But when they did, all of the NRA members around here got fucking pissed, right? And just started like giving away all their shit and literally just like, or selling it or whatever. And my neighbor had like a 32-ounce Yeti and a 20-ounce Yeti for every day with lids and straws and was like, come get them. And I was just like, listen, I just like cold drinks, you know, like that's where all of my my focus on all this thing is. Like, so I'm benefiting, you know, from this, and I did.
You know, I always think that's funny whenever somebody does something and it happens, you know, both ways or anything, right? But like, say a sports guy does something and people are like, I'm burning the jersey or I'll never wear the jersey again. It's like, you already bought it. That's not really hurting anybody. And I mean, I guess maybe you could be like, well, I'm not showing my personal support, but who gives a shit really, you know, like unless that guy's going out the next day and buying everything of a different brand to replace it, then it's not really making a huge difference.
I'm cleaning my screen. So
we had a great, speaking of sports stuff, we had a great weekend of football. Did you watch some football?
So I only watched your game. I watched the Cowboys. I was rooting for you because I just decided that I don't know why this is like this, but I've kind of always not liked the 49ers, and I don't have a reason. It has nothing to do with me. You know, I mean, obviously they're in the same, I guess, conference as the Steelers, but I've never liked them. Like even the Joe Montana days, like I like Jerry Rice and, you know, that's fine, but I just never was. So anyway, I was like through the first quarter and I was just like, you know what, guys, I like rooting. So I'm just going to root. So I rooted, and maybe that's what fucking happened to you, buddy. I'm really
You're rooting for us, so we went down. I don't think that's what happened, honestly. You know, I was going to tell a little story about the other game. You see the Trevor Lawrence game?
No, the Jacksonville
game. That's it. awesome game. He didn't lose that game. He was throwing amazing passes, hitting receivers in the hands, hitting them in the numbers. Like they just couldn't hold on to anything.
Right.
And he did awesome. And he's a rookie quarterback, or young. He's
3 years, I think.
Yeah, he's super young.
Yeah.
But it wasn't him that lost that game. And I didn't see this till after the game. Tyler was actually rooting for that team. And the next day I saw a video of Trevor Lawrence like leaving the field. He gets into the tunnel. He stops. He turns around and he waits for the rest of his team to come by. And he shakes all their hands, gives them hugs, congratulates them. Like I was just thinking, what a leader and what a winner. And what an awesome thing to see. And I showed it to Tyler after I saw it. And it's one of those moments. It's like, this is who you look up to, right? I wasn't a fan of that team. I'm not a fan of that team, but now I'm a fan of him. And that's someone that, so often in sports, we see people, doing things you don't want kids to look up to. But that was like a just awesome, genuine moment. He did it after he got out of the limelight.
There's a new sort of generation of these guys that, there was definitely a time a few years ago where it was very hard to find. I hate to use the word role model because for me and my generation, it always goes back to the Charles Barkley commercial where he's like, I'm not a role model and whatever. And I sort of get that because, obviously I talk about how famous I am all the time, but I'm aware of like where I stand on that ladder, right? But I don't like to be a role model. I mean, I like to be a good person, but I talk about some fucked up shit, and that's our band. That's what we do. But there is just this new generation, I think, of some of these players to where like you're looking at them and just going, my God, like it's fucking cool to just see somebody that can play that's also a good person, and not like just a piece of shit, and quite frankly, we had just a shitty bunch of people for a very long time. And those were the guys that were floating to the top. That's a Mitch Allen quote, by the way. Shit floats to the top. But it's funny. I saw the statistic where it was like, it showed the 4 quarterbacks that are left. So it's Joe Burrow, it's Patrick, the guy, Jalen, and then the guy from the 49ers, right? 3 of those guys are in the finals, in the championships for their division, and still on rookie salaries. And they're all seemingly pretty good fucking people. I know Joe Burrow, man, I love this guy. First of all, I watched him beat the living shit out of the Steelers in person. I was talking about this the other day. It's like when you watch it on TV, you're like, oh, okay, well but literally it was surgical what this guy did. And I took my son to his first game, and it was just, we were both just shaking our heads like, oh my God, this fucking sucks. But yeah, man, I love that you guys got to share that moment. I think that's important. Soccer players are usually really, really good at sportsmanship.
Sure.
Although they do, the take and the dive thing and all that, but that's part of the game. If you Now, I realize you can't watch soccer.
I just fall asleep the second it comes on.
Fall asleep right off. You become soccer narcolepsy.
100%.
Gary. It's soccer narcolepsy Gary. Gary, we're switching to video, and I'm sort of in a pickle because now people can see us, right? Mm-hmm. And there's 2 things about me that I'm a little bit concerned with. And here's the first. I took a shower this morning. And so I'm last minute. Last minute Jaret.
We don't have smell-o-vision yet. You don't have to shower right before the show.
Well, let me finish. Last minute Jaret, of course, is like coming up the stairs, eating this little chicken pocket from Costco, just so I have something in my stomach, so that because you and I are going to be here for like 3 hours or 2.5 hours or whatever. And I'm like, but I didn't get to do my hair. And so like now the audience is getting flat hair Jaret. But I did wear a nice shirt today for our first official video thing. The other thing is I scratch my nose a lot. And you know this about me. I am constantly messaging with my nose. My nose has been stopped up since the 7th grade. And I kid you not. And like there's surgeries I can have for this. But our friend Jason from a band called The Feds had that surgery. And after he did, his voice sounded different. And I'm like, this is literally how I make my living. you know, like in every aspect of it, you know?
I didn't know that he did that, but I am 100% sympathetic to the having a runny nose since second grade. I thought that's what living in Texas is.
No, it's not. And I take Flonase every day, not an advertiser, and Allegra every day, not an advertiser. And still, and I've switched all that stuff up, and like I just go to the doctor and they're just like, it's kind of like it is what it is thing. Unless I start, I guess, doing those allergy shots or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. You know what I mean? Like I can't, you make an appointment and you got to go like every month. I don't ever know when I'm going to be here.
Well, the allergy shot thing, I had to do that when I was a kid. Isn't it kind of like going to the chiropractor? Like first you have to go get tested and figure out what all you're allergic to. But then they start doing like, I don't know what it is. At the chiropractor, they're like, we need to see you 3 times a week for 2 weeks, and then twice a week for 2 weeks, and then once a week. So I think the allergy shot's the same thing. They're like once a week for 2 months, and then every 2 weeks. It's like heavy at first, right?
Yeah, Casey Fisher just did it. Friend of the show, Casey Fisher, just did it. And he is allergic to pretty much all the ingredients in beer.
Ooh.
I know. And it's like that. I haven't even said this to him, but like that's literally how our friendship started. You know what I mean? Like we went and had a beer, and like now we're like, you know, I've got my neighborhood group, and it's pretty tight. And he's a member of that, but he can't drink. I think he drinks like one time a week or something.
Is it specifically beer though, like, or is it alcohol? Like, can he drink wine or bourbon or vodka?
So I think he can drink that stuff. But I don't think he's like that kind of a drinker, you know, and I'm the same way. Like I've been trying. It's so funny. Casey said the other day, you know, boy, this dry January, we have really drank a lot. It's so true. It's like she tried to do this dry January and I was like, fuck that, because that's like me starting a diet November 15th. You know what I mean? Like, it's just setting myself up for failure. There's no way I can do it. I knew I had these 2 country shows, and I knew one of them was like a solo show. So I was like, there's no way I'm not going to drink that night, you know, because, you know, you got to shake the dust off and all that. But anyway,
something just happened to your camera.
Oh, my God, it did. What happened? Oh, that's weird. It's right when Joey clicked in, like my camera went weird. Oh, wait, did I cough? I wonder if I coughed something on it. This one.
Well, you know, we a couple of years ago, you're talking about diet. A couple of years ago, I went on a diet and lost a lot of weight. But part of me doing that was like for the first 2 months, I just didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything. You know, like people hadn't seen me for 2 months because I'm like, well, if I go somewhere, I'm gonna be drinking too much and not eating good. And I'm back on that diet, but you know, I'm still gonna go see people on the weekends and stuff. But I'm trying to be.
You came over and it was like, what in the, like me, I hadn't seen you. Which is super weird for me not to have seen you in that amount of time. And I was like, what the fuck? So don't say what it is, but are you doing that same thing?
Yeah. I'm going to be back on that for a little bit. And just, you know, I'm not trying to do that forever, but I got to knock off some weight and then figure something else out.
Same, buddy. Same. All right. I am very excited about our guest. We're going to go ahead and go to him after this break. But this dude, I first saw his video on TikTok, and it was basically him and his dad. And he like asked his dad where he was conceived, and his dad tells the story. And then I figured out that he's just from right down the street in McKinney. And then I start messaging with the guy. His name's Joey Murphy. He's on TikTok. You guys will 100% know his videos. But this guy's story is amazing. Like, he is a single dad and raising a bunch of kids himself. And anyway, I think you guys are going to get a kick out of this. You're definitely going to get a kick out of his dad's stories. And I'm sure Joey will share some of those coming up after the break. Joey Murphy, you know him from TikTok. And we will be right back with more Rockstar Dad Show. Y'all listen to this. Welcome back to the Rockstar Dad Show. Man, Gary, I'm excited about this. Sloppy Joey 17 on TikTok, and you have to have seen his videos because his dad is this like 80s hair metal like character who like just still sort of like embodies the whole thing. I don't know. Joey, how are you, buddy? How's it going?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Let's just start with telling Gary sort of about that. Was that really the first viral video, the one where you asked your dad how you were conceived?
So that was my first video to get to over 1 million, and it was actually bought by MTV and put on Ridiculousness.
Wow.
But yeah, dude, people love my dad, dude. He's a legend. And I know you said you're from where we live kind of close.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever eaten at the Jim's Pizza over on 380 in McKinney, but that's the building right there.
That's where you were conceived?
That's where I was conceived, that little bitty bathroom.
That is so funny. I order from there all the time, but I've never been there. I didn't discover Jim's Pizza until the COVID, but I liked that they do this double cheese crust thing.
Oh my God, yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like a quesadilla with a pizza on it. It's unbelievable.
They need to work on their advertising though. Like all of the pictures never look good on their pizza, and then Tyler's teacher brought it to school one day, and like he's like, "That's great." So then we started ordering it. It's great.
I love that we're talking about Jim's Pizza when this man was conceived in their bathroom.
Dude, you bring up pizza, we're gonna talk about pizza.
Yeah, but your dad is for sure a legend, and it's so
Definitely.
funny because he is. I was born in 72, so I graduated in 90. But like that dude is like, who he embodies is like, I knew like 4 of those guys, just like the sort of like no nonsense, just like he just tells you like, and I love the one you posted yesterday where you're like, I'll let you specify, but you go, tell me the story about the time you busted the can of pineapple over the guys over the
can of corn.
Yeah, a can of corn over at Brookshire's. He goes, nope, it was a Kroger, and that was your, whatever. He corrects you. It's
he knows every detail, every name.
Yeah.
The funny story is the guy that he hit over the head was David Williams, who turned out to be the lead singer of Drowning Pool. So,
oh my God! He grew up with Dave. We knew Dave very, very well.
Yeah, he and my mom were actually really good friends. I can't remember the other guy's name. But yeah, him and my mom were really good friends growing up. And him and dad worked it out after the whole corn story and everything. But
that is great. He hit Dave Williams over the head with corn.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's probably why he could sing so good. It's. But he didn't
get the nasal surgery, right?
Yeah, he did not get the nasal. I like the throwback. G. That's good stuff. Hey, if you don't know who Dave Williams is, he sang for the band Drowning Pool, and we knew him because he was in a band in the 90s called Fugly. And we played a lot of shows with them, and then actually the song that broke them was on a compilation that our manager at the time put out. It's just just such a tragedy when we lost him. But Drowning Pool have kept going strong, and we love those guys. And so anyway, back to the stuff now. You post a lot of content. Was your dad always a willing participant in all of this?
Not exactly, no. Before my dad was on it, I had 44,000 followers, but mainly the stuff that I would post, people would use my audios, and so I would get like a lot of likes and stuff, but I wouldn't get a whole lot of follows for it. I had like celebrities on Disney, the Disney Channel, using my stuff, and I'm over here like, dang, what can I do to kind of improve that? But so I kind of took my unique life situation. My friends have always told me, dude, if I could write a movie about your life, you would have like 7 seasons in a movie, easily. From all the crazy shit that you've went through. So, I kind of took that and rolled with it, and it's been pretty successful so far.
Tell us a little bit about the crazy shit. I mean, I know you're a little younger than us, but the Reader's Digest version, so to speak. I mean, take us on like a quick tour of the things in your life that make it such a good story, but also as my life is a wacky existence, because when people hear my story, they're just like, what? What happened? What? So tell us a little bit about that.
So, yeah, I mean, my dad's pretty much, he's what you get, on camera. He's exactly like he is on camera in real life. He's a true 80s rocker, and I'm his only, biological son. And I think he's a little bit disappointed that I'm more on the soft teddy bear type, But I mean, it was when my parents split up when I was 15. I lived with him, and we kind of started our thing together. And it's honestly it's been crazy. My first major memory of my dad. Again, I've always been quiet and conservative, but we were fishing at a town lake over in McKinney, and I guess my son was messing with the guy's trout next to us or whatever, and he was getting mad, so the game warden came up and was saying stuff to my dad, and the game warden ended up falling in the lake, and he's talking shit to him, and I had to keep him from getting arrested. I'm like, hurry, tell my son, go tell him, don't arrest Poppy, and we kind of got him out of that and stuff.
Right. Yeah,
he
is certainly a character. I mean, the thing is he's always very, very straight faced and and pretty stern in the way that he answers questions and all of that. But you can tell that he loves you very, very much. Mm-hmm. When you told him that you were planning to move to the other side of Fort Worth, I believe it was, which is, if you don't know Dallas, Dallas Fort Worth end to end is, I think, a 4-hour drive on highway, and that's going 70 miles an hour. It's insanely huge, and you were going to a completely opposite side, and you could just see the concern on his face in that video that you posted. And that's actually what led me to ask you about your own fatherhood and being on this show, because he said, you're going to move over there with all those kids. And it was really touching, actually. He showed a little bit of a softer side, didn't he?
He did. And he's actually, I've always been there to help my dad out. He's not in the best health, or anything right now. So, I pretty much drive him around every day to his doctor's appointments. He can't really drive or anything anymore. And, it's kind of paying him back for, taking care of me. Again, my sisters went to go live with my mom when they got divorced when I was 15, and I stayed with my dad. So we've always been kind of together. And that's why I'm, a little excited that I got my old job offer back. I left it back in 2020 because of some child support issues that I was dealing with. And, he's offered, I've already let my apartment go. I have to be out of here by Saturday. But he's like, you know what, I'm going to go buy a camper. I'm going to put it in my backyard. And you guys can glamp for a couple months until you save up some money to get you a house. So, I mean, that's the plan now is going back to work, making the good money and getting me and the kids a place. And it's honestly a better situation than it probably would have been had I moved. So I'm very fortunate to have him and have, still have him around. I know a lot of people don't have their dads around my age anymore.
Yeah, you're a single dad, man. And one of the reasons that I really wanted to have you on the show is, dads of all coming from all walks of life are on this show, but also the listeners, grow up in situations that are very, very different as well. And so you have 3 kids, is that right?
3 kids. I have 2 girls and a boy.
2 girls and a boy, and you're a single parent. Mm-hmm. And so are you and mom, are you in touch at all anymore, or is she around?
So, I mean, that's kind of a longer story. I got them 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. I guess when we first split up, she had them for the first 6 months, and that was a very hard time in my life. I was very depressed. I didn't want to be away from my kids because I love being a dad. And I got caught in this system where, they kind of looked at what I made per hour, and being a mechanic, you don't really get paid per hour. You get paid flag hour. So they stuck me with this $660 bill weekly, not even monthly. So over $2,400 a month to pay for these kids, which was fine, when she had them. But when I got them, their mother went through a situation with drugs and stuff. So I ended up taking them in, but the child support never stopped. So I ended up still having to pay $2,400 a month to a mother who wasn't even there. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is it finally got stopped last month. It took 3 years, but it's been a pretty rough road, and we're kind of talking now, and she's been clean for a year now, and obviously my kids love their mom. It doesn't matter how I feel about them. I feel about her. It's all they think. So we're trying to get along.
I mean, it's for those of you who don't live in the state of Texas, there's child support rules are put in place, and for the most part, they are to benefit, the mom who, takes, and honestly, it's because there are so many deadbeat dads in this state. Dads who have the best intentions do often get the short end of the stick, get penalized, get caught up in that system. I know Justin Furstenfeld from Blue October does a lot of awareness for all of that. And again, it's hard to get into as a conversation because there's so many sides to the story. It just sucks that there's not, just an easier way for it to be, gone through without having to go through 3 years of court and all of that with money that you don't have. I can't imagine the frustration, but what you have to be waking up every day going, this is what I need to do because these are my children. And, I'm going to just continue to work and fight.
Yeah, exactly. And, when I first got the kids, I was paying my child support fine, when I didn't have them, because I was just taking care of myself at the time. But when I got them, it became more and more difficult. I couldn't really afford 2 mortgages at once. So I, slowly lost my house, lost my car and everything, all while having the kids, almost went homeless at one point. And that's where I'm very fortunate about where TikTok comes in. It's a great community. I made a video about, struggling. And that was, I guess you would say, probably my first not so viral video, but it was pretty viral. And that kind of helped me get my feet out the floor. I had a bunch of great, people who were lawyers who stepped in and were like, yo, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to go file. I didn't have the money at the time to afford a lawyer. So they really pointed me in the right direction. And that's how I got, where I am today with that situation. So a couple of people posted it on YouTube and it got millions of views on YouTube. And I had people reaching out offering to help. And, thankfully, as of December, I've been wiped clean of all the debt and stuff that I've owed for that. And now I can go back to work and, not have the first $660 deducted out of my check every week. So I'm very fortunate from where I'm at today because of, TikTok.
Was all that situation going on before you started your channel, or was some of that the inspiration for you starting your channel?
I'd had my channel going for a little while, but back then it wasn't my dad, me and my family and stuff. It was just, me just trying to be funny. And like I said, that video really took off for me, and that was really kind of what started the whole process. But that video, was probably a year ago, but it definitely helped get the attention of all the right people that I needed it to get out of the situation.
There's good people in the world, I mean, I love that kind of story because those people that responded to that, those attorneys or whatever, they didn't have to do that. And the fact that they took the time to go like, look, this is a good guy and holy shit, he's fighting for these 3 kids. And all of us are doing the math in our head, 3 years of that amount of money and you're the one with the kids and that money's going elsewhere. And you've pretty much hinted at where a lot of that money probably went. And again, nothing against the mother, that we don't know her, but at the same time, that had to have been so frustrating. And there had to have been times where you just were like, what do I do? Do I just give up? I mean, did you find yourself? Yeah, man, that's terrifying.
I mean, there was a point, like probably a whole year, when it first started, especially, man, I went through like, bad depression, stuff I'd never really experienced before. Because again, you wake up and you're in this hole that you don't know, how you're going to get out of, and you don't know how long you're going to be stuck in it. But at the same time, you got, your 3 kids that you love very much that you got to keep alive. So I kind of just had to take it into my own hands. I started, I'm a good mechanic, so I started doing side work. I started posting on Facebook and stuff, and I was able to bring in like a pretty good clientele to start doing that kind of stuff. And I make a little bit of money off my TikTok, so that's what I've been doing for the past, since October 2020 when I left my job. And it's, it's kept us afloat and stuff, but I'm ready to go back and make good money again and get my life back on track. And I'm glad I didn't give up, because I look back now and I was at, the lowest point in my life, and now like 2022 was the best year of my life. And had I given up, it wouldn't be that way. 2022, I got my kids back. I got all that, and I lost 100 pounds. It was a good
for you, man. That's amazing. I need to do that. I need to get more TikTok viewers and lose 100 pounds. Those are the 2 things I need to do that you. Huh?
All I did was cut out All I did was cut out sodas for a whole year and lost 100 pounds. Didn't exercise or nothing, man.
Good for you, man. Good for you. I wish I drank more soda. That would be a factor. Gary, I'm 3 weeks off the diet soda, by the way. 3 weeks.
I was telling my wife the other day that I can't remember the last time I had a diet soda.
Wow. You don't even like give in on tour every once in a while and just say, fuck it.
It's been over a year for on tour. And there's times where now I'm like out somewhere and it's like the habit pops up. Like I should, and then I'm like, why would I want that? I haven't had that. And it's not that I even want it. It's like the habit of it creeps in.
Before we, I do want you to introduce us to your kids, Joey. And I do not like literally, but like tell us about them because that's what this show's all about. But I do want to talk. There's a lot of people obviously that listen to this program that are on TikTok that want to be TikTok, creators and things like that. I guess the simplest question is, can you make money on TikTok just by making good content?
Yeah, I mean, so they pay you, I guess, based on views. So when I get like over 1 million, I'm making like $80 a day, at least. But I mean, most of the time it's not great money, I would say.
Right.
It's anywhere between 10 and $80 a day.
Right.
But it's fun and it's money that I didn't have before. And it's, for a 15-second video that takes no time at all.
If you put your, I think that's what's cool about your content is that like for some of us, I think tend to over obsess a little bit on the creation of things. Mm-hmm. And like I'll spend sometimes like an hour, 2 hours on one little video, whatever. I like your stuff because it's just so raw and just like there. Like it's funny. You were talking on the corn video of your dad talking about breaking corn over Dave from Drowning Pool's head. Which, God damn it, I wish there's got to be a way to loop that in with the whole corn trend that's going on right now. You got to figure that out.
I know, yeah. I know.
Anyway, but my favorite part of the video was your little brother, your little stepbrother in the back, just laughing and just, and I just love like when you fuck with him about, music and stuff like that, because he doesn't necessarily like your dad's music, right?
Oh, Ben, no, he is all about the 80s rock.
Yeah.
Me and Dad are the opposite ones. He told me this morning he was a little bit jealous I was going to be on the show. He's like, well, I'm the Rockstar Dad. You're just the alternative guru. And I was like, well.
Well, he can for sure be on here to one time. It's so funny, though, because you fuck with him about, somebody being better than Def Leppard or whatever. And like he full on takes offense to it. And it is hilarious.
No, and that's all real.
Yeah,
it's all real.
So,
we can't be in the car. I mean, we work together. Everything. I mean, there can't be anything on the radio besides Def Leppard, Motley Crue. He refuses to work to anything else. So.
And your stepmom's younger than you, right? You call her your younger stepmom.
She is. Yeah, she is a year younger than me. God, they met when I guess I was 22. She was 21.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it would work out. I thought it was, just this weird thing. We kind of didn't talk about it for a while, but, they've been together for like 7-8 years now. So
awesome. Awesome. And yeah, man, it's okay. So it's Sloppy Joey 17 on TikTok. Y'all got to follow him if you don't already, because I mean, again, I just right when I hear, "Hey Dad," and it just goes to him or whatever, and you can tell he doesn't know what's coming. It is just my fucking favorite. I laugh every single time. We're going to take a break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit more about the kids. You good to hang out with us a little bit longer?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. Let's take a break. Y'all listen to this. We will be right back with more Rockstar Dad Show with Joey Murphy, Sloppy Joey 17 on TikTok. Welcome back to the Rockstar Dad Show. Man, this is going good. It's our first like real video episode, Joey. Like I don't know if you realize what an unbelievable milestone you're being a part of right now. This will be our very we released last week's episode with my fiddle player for my country band on video, but we didn't have like all these graphics and stuff yet, like the new graphics and stuff, and we weren't really advertising it. So you, my friend, are being a part of history right now.
I'm so honored. I appreciate it. It's weird because I grew up listening to you guys. I was part of the emo era. I used to have, the black hair,
Yeah,
the come over or whatever. It's really cool. I'm glad to be here.
were you into music when you were a kid? Did you like go to shows and stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Edgefest. Like I loved Edgefest every year. I miss Edgefest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bowling for Soup, Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco. Those were like my bands, Weezer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, me and my dad didn't really follow along the same lines, but yeah, man, I love music. I was in a band when I was 17 until I was like 19. I sang for a band called Emergency Exit. We did like a few, wine tasting shows, nothing like super cool or anything, but I love it.
Those can be
what is a wine tasting show like?
I know.
Downtown McKinney, they just have wine tastings, and you get up on stage and you play a few songs, and people are getting drunk, and it was a good time.
Sounds fun.
Our friend Ryan Cabrera, Gary, throws those twice a year, and I've played his before, and it's just like a show, but they just have wine.
I like it.
Yeah, it's great. It's super fun. But yeah, downtown McKinney, Texas, has got it figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's always something going on. There's tons of stuff. There's great like home cooking restaurants and good pizza and like all this different shit. But literally, like every weekend, when in the right time of year, something crazy is happening down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
I guess I don't spend enough time in McKinney. I don't know all the stuff down there.
Where do you go? What's your weekend hang?
The baseball fields.
Right.
Yeah.
I just had this conversation. I just had this conversation the other day with a friend, and we were talking about like, your life and the baseball that at the level you're doing, and like where I'm like, yeah, Everett still does rec because he's got so many other things that he does. It's like, and it's just like, if you decide, hey, you're going to play select baseball, like that's what you do now. You just play select baseball,
Yeah.
and that's your life. And that's your life now too, Gary, right?
It's a lot of it, but it's fun. It gives us something to do together, it gives us a lot to talk about. So it's good.
Joey, tell us about your kids. What are their names and how old?
I've got Emily, she's 7. I've got Jace, he's 9, and Aubrey is 11.
Very
all
cool.
2 years apart.
Man, you've been wait, how old are you?
I'm 32.
All right, you started young.
So I started young, but yeah, so I'll probably retire young, I hope. But I hear that's not how it goes.
Usually not. I thought I was retired, and I have a 10-year-old now. So, that you sort of don't have any control over that. I mean, technically you do, but life happens, man. And you just kind of take it as it goes. But how does your dad do as a grandpa?
He plays all tough and shit on camera, but he loves it. The kids, they love my dad because he's a pushover. They can ask him for anything they want, and he's always there to take us to go get a Slurpee, and he's got all 6 of them in the car, taking them to go get Slurpees. See, Ben and Chandler and Daryl, they're not actually my biological brothers. They're actually my nephews. My dad just raises them. They're my sister's kids. So I've kind of over the past 10 years called brothers, because again, my dad's been raising them, and he has full custody of them. So. But yeah, they love him. He's a great grandpa.
This story thickens because that just makes him an even more interesting guy because, I assumed when you said they weren't his kids, I assumed that they were your stepmom's kids. But now if I do the math, she was only 21 when they met. So that it's impossible that she could be, well, not impossible. I mean, I watched that blowing. Yeah. I have that blowing facts on my Instagram. I mean, there's a kid had a baby at like 5 one time. So not impossible, but but yeah, that's crazy. And so you don't have to go into all that of your sister or why that's a factor. But at some point, he stepped up and was like, "These kids, I'm gonna do what's right. I'm gonna raise them, and they're gonna. This is what I'm gonna do."
Yep. You know, they don't know any different. They call them, you know, mom and dad, and they call me their brother and everything, which, you know,
Oh, wow.
that's what we are. You know, you don't have to be, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I have my ex-wife's cousins. I call my nephews, and it makes sense to us. And they call me Uncle Jaret, and it's great, and we love it. So 11 is your
11.
oldest. My goodness, you're about to be into like teenage years.
Oh God, yes, and it's already coming.
Oh my!
Sometimes
God.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Don't
That's I struggle with the most is being a girl dad.
Don't they start acting like teenagers at like 8 now? Mine did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do, but then when they become a teenager, they act like an adult or whatever. You know, it's like my son is 10, and he's great, by the way. So I don't want, you know, to make this out to be like he's a little shit or anything, but in certain situations, he honestly believes that he knows more than me. And I'll just be like, why would you argue with me about this? I have a lot more life experience than you, and I'm telling you that this is the answer to that question. No, that's not it. That's not okay. Well, okay then, fine. Then you're right. Raising kids, man.
But, you know, honestly, I'm terrible with like technology and stuff. Like I'm lucky I know how to work TikTok because YouTube, anything else like that, Instagram, I don't have any of those things because I'm like stupid. When I grew up in the generation without cell phones, I didn't get my first till I was 16. And it's weird because my kids, even my 7-year-old, can work it better than I have. I have to ask her sometimes, hey, show me how to use this filter or whatever. And she's like, do it like this, daddy.
Yeah.
And
dude, you got to get on Instagram though, because you can put those same videos on Reels and it pays too. So you got to figure it out, dude.
Yeah, no, I will eventually.
You got to do it. I can't figure out Twitter, and I'm a little late to the game. Apparently, even people that drive Teslas don't even think those are cool anymore. I guess this Elon Musk is just fucking it all up. I don't know.
Yep. He's definitely insulted his fan base.
I don't know shit. I know, like, I see quotes from him all the time, and I'm like, that fucking makes sense. You know, like it you know, it'd be some sort of like one of those like CEO accounts that I follow or whatever, and he'll just say something. I'm like, makes a lot of sense to me. I guess the guy knows what he's doing. I don't know. The fuck do I know? I don't give a shit whether Twitter stays or not. I just can't figure out the app. I cannot figure it out.
I get on Twitter and like there's some people that I follow and try to see what's going on, but like I don't understand how the conversation goes.
Yeah.
I can see like this thing, but then where does it go after that? I get lost.
That's what I'm saying. It used to be so much easier. You retweeted or you retweeted with a comment, and now it's like I want to answer this, but if I answer it, who sees that? I have absolutely no clue how any of that works. But so sometimes if I just think something funny, I'll go, because I have like 36,000 followers on there from, you know, that probably half the accounts aren't even fucking there anymore.
Active,
yeah, because nobody's on there. But, you know, I think of some funny shit and I'll just go put it on there because just in case, hey, is anybody listening in here? You know, and sort of knocking on the door, so to speak.
Yeah, I haven't been on there for forever. And then like I started actually going back there in the past year or so. And whenever I do say something, which is rare, the responses are like, oh, you're back or something like that. You know, I haven't heard from you for 2 years.
Joey, you mentioned being a girl dad, and you know, I think it's just like anything else, honestly. Just going from my own experiences and friends' experiences and whatnot, I feel like you just get through it and you do it right, and you'll know how to get through it. And at the end of all of it, you know, she's gonna love you even more just because of the sacrifice, and all of that stuff. You know.
Yeah, those are my babies, man. When I first started, I was terrified because, you know, I wake up like in the morning and my hair looks like yours, and I have to suddenly learn how to do like ponytails and braids and all this other kinds of shit. So I sucked at it at first, but I'm pretty much a pro at it by now. So
yeah, totally. You know, that's a good feeling too. Like when you just nail that, because I remember even when I was still married to my ex, like I could do tighter ponytails, and so Emma would always want me to do her hair, and that feels good when they're just like, "Hey, will you braid my hair?" You know.
Is your daughter at the age or in the phase of fighting you on brushing her hair? Like she doesn't want it done?
That's my 7. my 7-year-old fights me with everything. Like she's got ADD, and man, that's going to be my trouble child. I feel like I love her. She's got me wrapped around her little finger, but she's my little tough one. My other two are like me. You know, they're good kids. They're calm. They're quiet. They're very well respected. But my youngest got her mom's satanic side, I believe, because it's
yeah. Man, I have a friend who, by the way, we're talking to Joey Murphy, who is Sloppy Joey 17 on TikTok. You've seen his videos. His dad and he have some really funny conversations. And again, I need to dive back into the older stuff because I think I've been following you for about a year, and it's been kind of all I don't even believe it was the first time you had posted that video of your dad. I think it was like a repost of like the initial one where you asked your dad where you were conceived, and it ended up being in a Mr. Jim's bathroom. And I'm sure your mom loves that he's telling that story to millions and millions of people all over the world.
He acts like he does, but he does. He's always on there reading the comments, him and mom both, and they're like, "Oh, it's so cool," blah blah blah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, there's a recent one where you took your dad over to fix your mom's car. And right, and you're just like, why are you over here fixing your ex-wife's car? And he's just like, this is the mother of my kids, you know.
It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can tell he just has a heart of gold, man. Absolutely. And Gary, we're trying to.
I like to aggravate the shit.
We're trying to schedule a 80s metal trivia game between me and Joey's dad.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, I think it will be too. But he said he's going to kick the shit out of me. And I sort of believe him.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Well, if so, then it'll be really good because you're hard to stump.
Yeah, but I am pretty good at that world of things. And so your dad, he gets pretty defensive about hair metal, right? As far as like his music.
And going back to like the Korn video too, you know, he knows every detail about everything. And that's like music too. Like when we listen to you know, Def Leppard or something on the radio, he'll be like, "Oh, this happened in 1986. You get this, you know, on this album, whatever." It's like he knows every detail about everything, and he's always spitting them out. Like one of my very, very, very first videos was him sitting in the back seat. We were on our way to the final Kiss concert over in Dallas, and we were listening to all kinds of music. And I'm just like, "Dad, spit an 80s fact, spit an 80s fact, spit an 80s fact," and he's just over and over again, like, you know, spitting all these facts about these music and stuff. So
yeah,
he knows everything about it. So
did he go to the stadium tour, the Motley Crue Def Leppard thing?
He has not. He did not.
No.
He's everybody knows him as, you know, the Motley Crue guy, but he's down to heart. He's all about Kiss. Kiss is his all-time favorite.
Yeah, that's all of those like most of the, again, all the dudes that I knew that are like your dad, like that just like still like have the hair and all that stuff. Like everybody's all about Kiss. And it just, you know, the thing is for me, like as a kid, it really wasn't even their music. It was just the whole vibe. And it's hard to explain to people what Kiss was like back then because there's so many other bands that do it now. But there was just this insane mystery behind the band. Like you legitimately did not know what they looked like, and there was no press and there was no internet, so you couldn't find out. And they, you know, like it was wild. And you know, and then people thought it meant Knights in Satan's Service or whatever, and it was just, you know, and they're really just singing about fucking, you know, like they don't really even sing about Satan or anything. Everything's just about chicks. You know, and it's horribly written lyrics and just simple melodies and chords, and it worked, and people will fight to the death for that. You know, it's like, and even
my dad is.
Yeah, I mean, even insane musicians like Dimebag Darrell was buried in a Kiss coffin. You know, he just worshipped Kiss, and Sebastian Bach is the same way. Like it's just Kiss, Kiss, Kiss. So, you know, again, I think
that's where. Because my dad, he swears he wants to be buried in a Kiss coffin. Like that's
does he?
His number one thing. Yes, he wants us to know he has to be buried in a Kiss coffin.
Right. Oh my God. If Gene Simmons is in charge of that, there's no telling how much those things are. You know, you can always,
and you don't just go to the funeral home and be like, "We'll take the Kiss option," you know?
Yeah. Right. I think you got to order it. You got to like have it go. Well, you never know, but I mean, you know, hopefully your dad's got several years left in him, and they'll just have it at Costco. You know.
Exactly.
sell everything there. I mean, everything. You just can't. This fucking Costco is crazy. Joey, so you're gonna be glamping for a while. You're gonna move into your dad's backyard and continue to be an awesome dad and take this new job, which I think probably your dad is pretty damn happy about, that you're not, moving all the way across the city, because again, it might as well be another state over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
he's that's, I think, he's the one who reached out to me, because at first, I was like, I can take this job, but I'm not going to be able to find a house in time and everything. So, so he stepped up and he's like, you know what, fuck it, I'll buy you a camper and we're going to put it in the backyard and that's where you're going to live until you get your shit together. So,
Jaret, you say it might as well be another state. I mean, that's not an understatement. Have you seen the the satellite photo from space that has like the nighttime lights of DFW area, so you can see like all of the area of DFW, and then they've overlaid the state of Connecticut basically fits in the DFW area. So you're not joking. The other side of Fort Worth could be just in another state.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, man. Well, I tell you this, Joey, our friend of the show, Gary Kyle, he lost his home in, I believe, a hurricane. And while they were rebuilding it, they had to move into a camper in their driveway, and he has 7 kids. And they loved it. So, I think if you just make it fun, you just try it, like, hey guys, we're camping out, and I would suggest giving the 11-year-old a little bit of space every once in a while. And I think you're going to be great.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, we have a lot of fun. We're a pretty fun family. We got a lot of support. We got a lot of friends around there. So, it'll be fun.
Well, it's an awesome story, dude, and I just think you're awesome. I think it takes a big man, so to speak, and now 100 pounds lighter, to step up and be a single dad of 1 kid, but 3. Again, it's very impressive. And again, I appreciate you giving us a little insight into your dad and his heart, because we all love him on TikTok. Sloppy Joey 17 on TikTok, and soon to be on Reels, because that's gonna double your income, dude. Like you gotta do it.
I gotta get on there. I've already been talking about doing it. I gotta get down to it.
Especially the way you do your videos, because you don't want to repost it with that watermark from TikTok, but since yours are just organic anyway, you just go post it on TikTok and you go post it on Reels, and then you're just gonna make more money. Gotta do it.
I hope so. That's the plan.
Gotta do it, man. Well,
get rich.
Come visit us again on the show, dude, and let us know if you ever want to come to a Bowling for Soup show. And you tell your dad this: if he comes to a BFS show, we'll make sure he gets the Rockstar Dad treatment to make up for him not being
definitely.
On the show.
All right, dude. Just let me know, man. I'd love to make it.
Sounds good, man. Dude, take it easy, and thanks again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Man, that guy. It's so funny because have you seen? You're not on TikTok, right?
So that's what I was gonna say. Is I have not been on TikTok. So now that this show's on TikTok, maybe I'll be on there a little bit more, and I'm gonna go check out his stuff. Yeah, because he seems like an awesome dude.
He is. You got to be on TikTok, because that's one of the things we got to talk about. We'll just have our meeting here on the air. Somebody from our TikTok channel has to be on TikTok and just watching a couple of videos every day. Because, I can't do it because I have to do it for mine. And so you're going to have to get on there, and then you just like a bunch of stuff that you like. And then, but it is a time suck, but it is really, really funny. There are things that I'll watch sometimes, and I will be full on crying laughing. And so it's just a budgeting of the time thing, All
right, I'm gonna get on the TikToks then. But something I did notice during this episode is I know doing the video thing, you've been pretty nervous about it, but I don't think you touched your nose once the entire time we were talking to you.
I did too. I kept getting off camera and blowing my nose, and I just was trying so hard not to. And also, I keep the mic right in front of my face, and I'm trying not to do that. And it just, it's a whole thing. But
you did a good job getting off camera then.
Well, thank you, buddy. I was trying and my right nostril is running like down the street right now. And there's so much going on in there. And, but still my hair needs to be done. I'm going to do my hair before the next episode.
All right.
Next week, by the way, Thomas Thacker from the band Gob and Sum 41 is going to be on the show. And that's freaking exciting.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to have him. I want to thank Sloppy Joey 17, Joey Murphy, for taking the time. He actually had to make the time to be on the show today. He had some other stuff going on, so I just want him to know that we appreciate him. Y'all go follow him. It's some really funny shit. And Gary, I think that about does it for this week's episode.
We did it.
Y'all don't forget, if you are a frequent listener, you can now watch the video of our show on Facebook or on YouTube. It comes out the same time as the podcast. So on Wednesday is around 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. But as always, we're on Adobe Radio every single Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And that's about it for Rockstar Dad Show.
See you next week.
All right, y'all be good.
This is a song for my friends Jaret and Gary. They started a podcast and said a theme was necessary. They're just a couple of guys in a band that you know. Some rockstar dads who started a show. Until the next episode.